it split? Oh, okay. Okay. So, hello, Shan.
Hey, oh.
All right, let's just get straight into it. So, on uh, Saturday morning, I woke up I wasn't sleeping that well that morning, and I woke up about 3 o'clock in the morning. 'Cause I remember I bought tickets to Kev on Stage, this show, and it goes live our time, 3 o'clock in the morning. So I was just scrolling through to see, to watch some of it because I was awake. And I looked in the comments, and people were talking about the show a little bit, and they were saying, "Oh, I can't really enjoy it because of what's happened with Chadwick Boseman." And I was like, what do they mean? Someone says that Chadwick Boseman at family, and I was like, oh, what happened? Did someone in his family, did something happen? And as I scrolled down, they were like, oh, Chadwick Boseman, it's something like RIP, and I was like, wait, what's going on? And I had this feeling to myself, like, don't look for anything now, because 3 o'clock in the morning, if you see something you don't like, how are you going to get back to sleep? But I did it anyway, and I found out that he had passed away that Friday. I think it was the Friday evening, and had been, it was a shock to my system. And he had passed away. He had been sick with colon cancer for about 4 years, and it got to it got to stage 4. And I saw a picture of him really underweight, which I didn't realize. And people had noticed that picture, I guess, months ago, and said, "What's going on? What's happening with Chadwick? Why is he so underweight?"
Yeah.
But if he wants to keep that secret, he did it for me anyway. He did a really good job, because I had no idea. Yeah. So he was 43, and it just really it was shocking, but it was really difficult because no, not a lot of people knew yet. So I think the story had just broken.
So you were one of the first.
I guess in that way, but there was some news reports out, not on like YouTube or anything, but online. But I kept thinking, there was a lot of things going through my mind. I thought, I've got to tell Shan, what's that going to be like? You had already had something
I was
happening.
already nervous.
About something, happening. So I was like, do I tell her today? And then that's probably going to make her feel down. So I thought, okay, I don't know. And then I thought, these are things I kept thinking. So first of all, I tried to flip my feelings because, law of attraction. Yeah. And I thought to myself, they always say, Abraham always says that if you feel bad, it's actually just your perception of what's going on. It's not actually how your source feels. If you follow Abraham, you do it, so you understand that. So that actually flipped my feelings opposite way. So then I had like this buzz in me that I didn't know what to do with. But anyway, I kept thinking, oh my God, this is such huge news. If people are going to be waking up to this tomorrow, they're going to be in shock. He had the second Black Panther to go. Who's going to play Black Panther? This is going to be so sad. Everyone's going to be affected. But all these things kept going through my mind, and I had a kind of a hard time sleeping. And then I woke up the next day, and we were talking, and I asked you if you wanted to. I didn't know if you wanted to know. You wouldn't have known if you wanted to know, but I didn't want to spoil your day.
No, I was already super on a certain frequency of nerves, of anticipation, and I was already nervous about, him coming around.
Yeah.
But I thought to myself, I would rather you tell me the news.
That's what I thought.
Than him to come round and then he just blurts it out. And because I'm not as close to him as I am to you.
Mm.
I just didn't, from the way that you were talking, I was like, oh, this is a big one. This is one like,
Yeah.
you know, we have our top 3, and this is not like this could be one of them. And I don't know. It was a hard decision to make actually because I didn't know anything about it. So I wasn't sure whether or not it was good for me to hear it or not. It's like one of those things where you know you probably shouldn't hear it. You're trying to make the best decision in a, you know what I mean? But yeah, as soon as you told me, I was in disbelief, but my entire body just, I felt myself just go launch into this immediate kind of like whole body viscerally wanted to cry. And then you
flip it. But even me, I mean,
come on, flip it. But to say
still,
to you, I have a different view of death. When my friend passed away last year, that was a very hard time, and it was super hard for me. And we weren't even like super close, but her passing rocked me, and through reaching out to Abraham on YouTube. And like to get another perspective about death, I definitely have a different view of death now. So when you told me that, I was really upset, and I am really shook by this. But I do keep thinking like
he's not in pain anymore.
Yeah, like that's a really interesting thing. It's a really interesting thing because one of the things that Abraham Hicks says is like people who know people who are going to die. Like if you're at a stage where you know this person's gonna pass on, and it's imminent, right? I think she talks from this angle. Maybe I'm making this bit up, but it still works. So you know that this person's passing is imminent, and so you're upset that they're not going to be here anymore or that they've passed on, and you can't connect to your happiness because for you they are part of what makes you feel happy. They amplify your vibration, and you can't imagine a world where they're not in it, and you're able to smile, right? And she said, however, if you know that person was in a lot of pain prior to them passing, are you saying that you would prefer them to be in pain and still be here so that you're not? Is that the way you're looking at it? And I was like, oh yeah, that is like, you don't want that person to suffer, yet you want that person to stay. Yeah. And so the way she kind of flipped it was like, when you meditate, this is what she said, when you meditate, it's your desire to return back to, I like the way you put it, where it all begins. And it's your way of being able to have that moment in pure non-resistant alignment, being, knowing that you are, I am, you are all, right? And then you break that and you continue with your physical, but you need, and even sleep is a process of that. And so when you pass on, it's not that you necessarily want to die, but your desire is so great to no longer feel resistance that may be an option that is laid in front of you. And it's an option that in your essence works on that frequency and you pass on. And all you're doing is returning home. And when she said that, I was like, all right. I can be upset because obviously I can mourn someone's passing, but I can also be appreciative and happy that they're in a place where they're no longer feeling resistant. So, and isn't that really where we're all longing to get to? Aren't we all longing to have prolonged periods of non-resistance? Not necessarily death, but we just want to we love that feeling of being in complete kind of like harmony, all our thoughts being in harmony. And when we face contrast, it's upsetting. And it's more, and the more you kind of like meditate or the more you find your connection with self, you realize that what you're really upset about is that you've disconnected. So we're all trying to reach that prolonged sense of resistance, And then when you truly wake up or you have a moment like I did, I had a moment when I realized that I remembered. So I have no more questions, but I remembered. Then you start thinking like, well, I choose to be here. And life is enjoyable, and you're here to thrive and expand. But that being said, I'm still feeling.
Well, I
I
was
feel it
just
in my
gonna say,
arms. Where do you feel your
yeah,
morning? I feel it in like my biceps, coming down my biceps.
I mean, everything happens in my epicenter.
Oh, in your nook. I was like,
If
good.
if I can just talk like not law of attraction stuff.
Yeah, because sometimes it's easier, isn't it, to just
Mm.
like be all encompassing human and do the ums and the ahs and the but go ahead, speak freely.
I feel like sad,
Yeah.
disappointed. He was
Yeah.
like, not only is he a King T'Challa, Wakanda forever, but like that is its own blessing.
Yeah.
And he was just doing. He wasn't like a potential. He had potential. He was doing what actors dream of. He was getting all the parts. I don't even know if you know how many movies that Chadwick's been in.
I think so. I feel like I've been watching him for a long time, but yeah, I don't know him at all. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I
got
mean? Like when
all
I
the
say that.
parts. Yeah.
So that no one gets going.
He got all the parts. He got all, not like he didn't deserve that. I just mean like he was the one that they went to. He got all the biopics, or he and then so he was. I think Denzel Washington paid for his scholarship or something like that.
Yes,
Like,
I heard about that.
Yeah, and so like he was already there. He was at the peak, and he was and people were like respected him, his acting chops, his talent, all of that. And like I feel like for me, selfishly, I feel like you're Black Panther, and
Yeah.
that is so huge to me and black people, our culture. And I felt like, oh, we were all looking forward to seeing the
To
next
this
one
next one, because
and it's
yeah.
like it was so much more than him just playing a superhero. It was like
Yeah.
it was all of us. It felt
Yeah.
so like I was happy for him in that role. I liked seeing the black, and I keep thinking, are they going to replace him now? Like what?
I know. I was thinking, how are they gonna write it
Like
into the
that? Are they
story?
gonna? I go back to thinking, what was he thinking those 4 years when he knew he had cancer?
For
Like,
4 years.
Was he thinking about, oh, I'm gonna get through it, or was it, when he did he come to a point where he thought, oh, I'm not gonna get through this, and what are other people gonna think, or I'm at the peak of my career, oh no, now I'm gonna die. That's what are his family feeling? What is Denzel Washington feeling? The other Marvel people, like I flipped it, and I felt, not 100% terrible, but I still did feel like 80%, because it's still grief and it's still mourning for me. And I felt myself getting quite depressed about it, and feeling really low, and it's such a shock to my system. And I don't know when they were making Black Panther, but someone was saying that he would have been filming that while he had this cancer. He would have been filming it, and I was just like,
I don't know how he did it. When you told me that, because I
I
was
don't
thinking
know.
like car crash, something crashed. And when you said that, I was like, wow, that is a very physical movie to have that going on, and you're present in that moment, and like you don't watch him thinking, oh, this guy looks a little bit unwell. Like man's is just
I
bucking
don't
it
know
through.
if it was he said 4 years ago. That would have been 2016, and the movie came out 2018. So I don't know if I don't know when they filmed it and
It
then
took two
released
years
it.
to shoot, didn't it? I thought it
Yeah, but
took
I
2
don't
years
know
to
if it
shoot.
took 2 years before they uh or if they filmed it 3 or 4 years ago. So I don't know if it
Okay.
intermingled with that. But there's a lot of feelings, and I feel like someone has been taken from my life. I do feel this way. And I don't mean to make it all about myself, but there's just a lot of emotions happening. And that is one where I like stayed in bed. I felt like, not why, because I don't ask why, but it's like someone came and snatched him out. And it's like, but that's our king. That's how I feel.
That's what I felt when you said it. I was like, oh, the king is dead.
No.
Like, the king is gone. And it is selfish because I mean, for me, he is like, he is king of Wakanda. He is king. And so, like, for that's his, like, I must have seen him in other things, but that is like the most poignant thing. And so when you said that, I was like, ah, nah, right? Like, that's what my first thought, like, oh my God. And then, like you, I was like, so what does that mean for Wakanda? Does that mean, like, we're not gonna, like...
There's a lot of thoughts. There's a lot of different thoughts going on.
He is literally our icon, right? And then I thought to myself, but what a legacy to leave for your people, you know? And that made me feel emotional.
For him that he got...
That made me feel emotional.
It's about, most of all, my emotionalness is coming from what he knew was happening, I think. What was coming. That he was successful. Not every black guy gets to be, or black person gets to be successful in it.
You're looking at it you're looking at it from the point of view of somebody who hasn't got, like, health conditions to that degree, right? So you're looking at, like, something's been taken away from him, which is what the living does. The living thinks about mourns for the person that they don't have that life anymore. Whereas when you're going through those things, you're not looking at death as being a negative.
But 43.
You know what I mean? I know, but you're not.
Yes, but 43. Sorry, but you are thinking about.
But you're not thinking about. There's a moment where you stop thinking about what you haven't done and you start appreciating what you have done and all the people that you love.
But
all the lives that you've touched, and you reach a certain serenity, like a calmness in, like, it's okay.
Yeah, but I don't. You and I don't know that's what he felt.
You don't, but it's very easy for people who are not in that situation to be, like, they'll talk about it, like, much like how you have, like, oh my God, it was all snatched away. And it's like, if you think about it, that's from a human point of view. If you go back to non-physical, nothing gets taken from you. That your essence.
Yeah, but I'm not talking from
you're talking from that point of view. Okay, I won't go into that then. But, like, I just think, like, I put a picture up on Instagram, my Instagram account, which I will put on Keeping Self-Conscious, and I was looking for a photo because it's not something we usually do. Like, we're not usually so vocal about it. But I did think it would be interesting to take a different tack with this one and try talking about it, like, fresh off the boat. And I put a picture up on my Instagram account, which I don't usually do, but I felt like I wanted to honor him in some way. And so I was looking for photos today, and I first saw this photo of him when he was doing that, and I thought, oh yeah, cooking in it. And but then I found this picture of him smiling, and I was like, he looks, I don't know anyone could smile that big, right? So I edited it a little bit and put it up. And, like, when I see it, it makes me smile because I think he has done so much. I feel quite emotional now, but he hasn't. Going to try not to cry. He has done so much for his people, and he had to do so much for himself, right, throughout those years to get to a point where he could do things for his people. And he was part of this team of people who knew how important Black Panther was. They knew what they were doing there. And, like, he will be forever immortalized as our king. And so I'm like, I just think thank you. Because I don't know. I think there's a lot of layers to my emotions. There's a lot of layers. And a lot of that is because of this movie and feeling like he's not going to be here for the second one. And I was so, like, I keep talking about how I want to be in that second movie. And, like, just excited about it. And now that he's not here, I'm just like, oh my goodness, what does that mean? And I haven't even thought about his family yet. I haven't got there yet. This is all personal, like, personal thing, but I haven't had an opportunity to shed any tears because that day, like, you definitely whipped me up, like, flip it, because I did have something going on. And so, like, the two of those things, like, merging together would have been too much. But part of me wishes I just had that cry, because I don't know whether or not I can connect with that now. I don't know. And you know, like, when you don't let your emotions out as soon as you should, they kind of fester and they can turn into something else. So, but I believe it. It's one of those ones where I don't feel I can't believe it. Also, because you know, sometimes you look at, like, you hear something and you're going, I can't believe it. I believe this one, and maybe that's why it hurts so much. Because I'm not walking around saying, "Oh my God," but it was a shock. I just didn't think you were gonna say him. I didn't think you were gonna say him. It's interesting how you can feel so much for someone you've never met personally, isn't it? Yeah, that's interesting. But yeah, it is I feel it in my biceps, I feel it over my shoulders gently, I feel it down my legs.
It's been a tough weekend, man.
It has been a very, like, who knew kind of a weekend? It's been a really
all the drugs up.
I wouldn't describe this weekend as tough. I would say there was just an endless bountiful of moments of moments to truly test your resolve. But, like, I'm already holding some, like, I really would like to just put aside other things that are bothering me and focus on mourning this guy. I just want to mourn him a little bit, like, give him some space. Because I feel like this weekend I didn't give him any space for me to just, you know, sit in it. And I think a lot of people, although, you know, I don't go on social media when someone's passed away because social media doesn't give you an opportunity to process. But I feel like it feels like everyone's on this same slow, mournful, kind of like dragged out feeling with him. It doesn't feel as, like, fast and poppy like when someone dies. Usually everyone's flashing out a ton of photos. This one feels like it's a wave. Like, oh my goodness, like, you know?
I mean, Black Panther was a wave as well.
When that movie came out, like, I knew it was coming out. I was so, yeah, I do feel like I need to get some tissues because I feel like I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Do you think a fair few people knew? Do you think the production people knew?
I have no idea. I don't know. But I'm just thinking that when I found out, it was 3 a.m, so it would have been in the evening over there anyway. So it's not to say that they didn't.
This is what happened with Kobe. We were one of the first people to find out on the early hour because we went to bed late, didn't we? And it popped up.
Yeah, we were in the living room. Yeah,
in the living room. We went to bed late, and it is a very strange feeling knowing that something has happened before social media has got their hands in it.
2020.
I know people keep saying that, but I'm like, don't blame the year, man. Don't blame the year.
I'm just stamping and labeling it 2020. I can't. It's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. It's unbelievable to me.
My friend posted something on her WhatsApp today, and it was, I don't know from what theatre production it is, but it's a whole heap of black people dancing around, and it's black woman in a really big kind of like pink outfit, and she's walking down the aisle and she's saying, "Don't give me no bad news. When you meet me, just give me all your highs. Don't give me your lows. I can't take no more news." And she put it up in reference to 2020. Can't take no more. And I thought, I think when I see that, I just think, you know, everything happens for a reason. And I know that I've been calling this the year that isn't, right? And so, but there has been like, it's been a pressure cooker of things this year. Like there's so much heatedness in this 112, and we ain't even done the year yet. So we still have things to come. We still have things to come, but I feel the loss. And I feel the loss because as a Black woman, this feels like a loss of it feels like a loss of ours.
Yeah.
And it feels like a loss of it feels like a loss of the joy we're all gonna experience again with this guy's, I keep saying this guy, but you know what I'm saying. I don't mean to say it to be disrespectful, but with his with Chadwick's involvement. You know what I mean? Like we were all like, I think that also we especially with this kind of year and things that were going on, I feel like as a community we needed something on the horizon to kind of like pull us back to some sense of coordinated togetherness as a race. And Black Panther, when it came out, not only was it just for us, it really showed the world the power of the Blacks, because we didn't require any other race to be involved in the sense of this movie doing well. And then I think other races saw that kind of like intense power from the Blacks, you know what I mean? And it rocketed all over the world. It was much bigger than just a movie. It gave people an insight into what was happening or would have continued to happen had slavery not have got involved. And for a moment, like I know when that movie first started in the cinema, I saw the movie twice. But when the movie started in the cinema, I immediately started crying because I was just like, somebody is giving me an opportunity to see, you know, and not only that, for Rex to feel like I'm getting to see what it would have been like. And I'm just like, I really just feel like the king is dead. That's how it feels in my heart. Like, I feel like, but I'm, you know, I haven't even thought about his family yet, because I haven't got to that moment yet where I'm like, what do you think his family? Like, I haven't got that moment. This feels so like about me. It feels so about me at the moment. But yeah, I'm still avoiding social so much around it, because social media is not where you mourn. Excuse me. No.
It's one of those things where I know it's gonna hit everyone 3 times as hard, especially in the Black community. I know it is, because
we don't got too many greats. We have,
but
I mean, we've got greats, but we haven't got greats that surpass a certain.
He was like, you could say he's the next Denzel. Like, you could say that.
Ooh.
He was, yes. You don't know how many films that this guy was in.
I don't know how many films.
He was in all the movies. All the movies that for a Black guy went to Chadwick Boseman, deservedly. But I just feel like, I don't know.
So you don't, to your knowledge, it wasn't COVID related. It was just.
No, it was colon cancer.
Okay. So it wasn't. It didn't break down, or he didn't.
I don't know. It was 4 years, isn't it? So, but I think it. I was going to say that it's 3 times as much, because not only was he a success story in terms of being an actor in his career, he seemed like a really cool person. You know, just really down to earth people. I never heard anyone say anything bad about him. He seemed very nice. And I think he was inspiration for Black actors, like good actors, whatever. So like, this is where you can get to. This is where, you know, you can do this. And so he would go and talk at like universities that he went to. I think it's like he went to HBCU, sorry, Black College Boseman. He went back to. But what I'm trying to say is that
What did you say?
I think he went to a black college.
Oh.
But what I'm trying to say is that, like, he was already all of those great things, and then Black Panther. So it's like he ticked so many boxes for us, and then Black Panther, and that's why I feel like it's hitting me on so many different levels. And I don't like to feel like this.
I think it's important, though. I think these feelings.
No.
I know you don't.
No,
I know.
I don't have no choice. I don't have no choice right now. How I feel.
I think these feelings are important. I know that when you're not feeling good or you're not feeling like 10 out of 10, anything below that feels uncomfortable, and like it wasn't that long ago, I would probably say about over the last couple of weeks, I have spiraled into what I'm calling a mini depression, because I wasn't quite at the sunken place, but it hit me. And then it's been about 3 to 4 days of me feeling like I'm back in some kind of connectivity with source, but not 100%. I felt I was at somewhere between 97 to 98. I could still feel a part of me that wasn't quite there. And then things unfolded on Saturday, and I thought to myself, I've just gotten past that to get to this, and then I hear about Chadwick. I think to myself sometimes, like, when I think about this for a lot, like when you're feeling low, or you have a situation like this you have to deal with, the first thing you want to do is to move away from it. And it's a lot easier in my experience, if you just sit in it and allow it to wash over you and organically just leave you. The more you kind of try to push it away, you're building that resistance and you're building up a frequency. And then all these other things are going to fall on top of you too. And they are real feelings. They're not comfortable, but they're actual, real, credible feelings that you're supposed to feel. They wouldn't be there unless you were supposed to experience them. And I think sometimes as humans, we know that death is upon us, but I think because as a culture, as a race, or as a society, we don't have any rituals like some of these. You got some of these communities that haven't been touched by society, so they still live in the forests and they still live in the Amazon, right? And they have different rituals when it comes to death, different ways of seeing death as being something as enlightening, right? And so because as a society, we don't practice that or talk about it very often. When something like this happens, we get kind of bombarded by all these new feelings, and we've got no way to process them or to place them. Mm. And so all that comes next is anger. We haven't got anything else to do. We can't express it in any other way. And I do think that is a failing of our society, that if we talked about it more and changed the perspective around it, we wouldn't necessarily be people who welcome death, but we would honor the process of death as opposed to reject it. There's a process in your body breaking down that is beautiful in its sense, but I think like death is always harder on the people left behind, and I think the case is because we don't have a process for it. Even religion, even like modern day religion, they don't have a process for death. Like last funeral I went to, he was talking about how like you're being called home, and it was very religious, but you're being called home and that person's an angel and everything. And I'm like, okay, but where's the feeling in this? Where's the how, you know what I mean? Where's the understanding and looking at it from a more enlightened place, as opposed to making it very religious and you've done all your service, like you've done your service to God. Where is the essence of choosing? That's what I'm saying. So
But they don't believe that if they're Christian. I don't think that's what they believe.
they don't believe. I mean,
I'm
things.
not Christian, so I don't.
I'm not a Christian, but things cross over. There's a lot of teachings that cross over. But
You are technically a Christian, though.
well, because I've been baptized.
Yeah, because you're a Christian. You're just not a
Well,
practicer on here.
Christians would argue that if you're not practicing,
You're not practicing.
just had water spread over your bald head, which is exactly what I did. But
I don't know if I could talk about it anymore. To be honest, I don't.
it was so hard to even set up this conversation because all I wanted to do this weekend with because I'm also mourning Carnival. I have to say I feel so low, like I feel really flat and tired of all the things that people are trying to do to replace Carnival. It's tiring and constantly being bombarded with these new things you can do and finding out that you've got to pay a handsome amount of money for tickets and then you've got to figure out if you can get there and then you're wondering what you're going to do. It's so like tiring, and the fact that I had a lot of that. This weekend was going to be a huge weekend in my year. I was going to play Pan this year, and I was going to be in the Carnival actively again, and it's been so. I don't know whether or not. I was thinking this a couple of days ago, whether or not the government is going to roll out some kind of therapy plan for people to be able to talk about how this experience has hit them, even in the little ways. There's little ways this year has poked at people, even if you are happy introverts like ourselves and do spend.
It still affected me.
It still affects you, and like. I just wonder if they were going to roll out any kind of therapy plan, any kind of plan for therapy where people can talk about, and they won't. This is the thing that irritates me. They won't do that.
It's not their problem. They're not going to see it as an issue.
Yeah, but you know it's so essential for people to be
able
to express. But
it's not essential. Yeah, so then they'll say, all right, there's counsellors, go and pay one and do it. That's it.
I really
it's not
think
essential for them.
I think the country needs some talking, needs to be able to express. There are a lot of people that I've been listening to talk about this year in terms of their work and feeling like they have been super unproductive and don't know what to do with themselves. And they're feeling like not the pressure, but they're bombarded by people saying this is a really good time to start a course. Or this is a really good, and it's not a really good time to start a course to learn anything. It's a really good time to kind of process your feelings. The virus hasn't hit like. There's a virus that is killing off thousands of people around the globe. Like it's a death toll that as human beings we don't usually hear that huge amount, apart from like if there's a world war going on or in the millions, right? So we're hearing this like constantly how the death toll is rising, and we can't like we can't quantify that because we can't see the people dying, but we're being updated about all these people who are dying down to this thing, and this thing is not being properly explained to us, so we don't really understand it. And then somebody from the government says, no, you have to alter your entire life. You can't see the people you love, and you have to wear a mask over your face, and you can't travel here and there. And it's these little shifts that you're trying to make, whilst also not die, because some of us are feeling like if we do certain things, we will perish. Other people like yourself are not feeling that, but you're still being affected by what you can't do or what you're being expected to do. And I just think people need some fucking help. And then somebody passes away, and then that's like another little rain cloud. We don't have to talk about it anymore. I think we did a bang-up job just having this conversation, to be honest with you, because as much as I wanted to try it out, talking about things,
I did not want to talk about it.
I have really not wanted to, like I, kept saying to you, do you want to like have a sad conversation? I really don't feel like I have given myself time to really feel this. Yeah, but I think everything else has been pushing it out of the way, and I haven't had time. And you know what I need? A good couple of weeks. I feel like I need a good couple of weeks to just stew and just like You know, I will have a little cry when this is over. I can feel myself wanting to have a little something. But thank you, Chadwick.
Yeah, and our condolences to his family and friends. But I have to say, I'm really thankful to him for his work and effort, and just him just seems to be a good person, a nice person. And yeah, thank you, Chadwick. I'm sad. Smile. I'm sad that he's gone, but I'm so happy and appreciative for what he left behind here.
That's quite a legacy.
What he did while he was here.
He's changed people. He's changed. Yeah, he changed me. Like changed me. I've changed.
Feeling of when that movie was coming out was just like,
oh my god.
That to me. Do you remember when we learned that the Olympics were coming to London?
we were like, oh my! Finally, it was just so electric. You were electric, innit? You had this like little electricity going through your body. Yeah.
Oh my! But that for me, that was amazing. But when Black Panther was coming, because when it first came out, I was
organize dates. Yeah, and did we go to Forex? Forex.
Yeah.
After that movie, I paid twice to see that movie.
I paid twice also.
Contributed to my community.
When it came out, that for me was like that was so huge. Everyone was touched by, not just in our community, but in the Black community.
Walking around doing that to everybody.
Like, on the football pitches, they scored a goal. They did that. Everyone was just.
It was so like it was cultural. It was like it penetrated.
So that was like. I'm really thankful for that because it made me really feel like I was a part of something huge. And plus, for me, you know, being like in action and stuff like that. Seeing a superhero. You know, I love superhero movies.
You slightly tried to diminish your passion there.
Oh no, okay.
Because like an actor, I feel like you're not really being real.
No, but I was
to see in which you love acting. But you know, like as I like acting.
If I was in the industry, that could have been a movie I got into, and not like the minority, like it.
Well, can I design the jewelry? How do I talk to somebody who can let me do something? I just wanted to be part of it. You know what it was? I just wanted to be part of this amazing
moment
thing. It was so like, how do I, even if the camera just swaps by me and you see me in the market, this is like,
just like,
or someone,
like even though,
I would love someone to approach me and say, can you design some jewelry or anything? Anything. I just wanted to be part.
I still got my ticket stub. I found it the other day.
I made jewelry based on it.
Like that was so huge. I still feel it as well, and I just was really looking forward to the second part of that wave happening again. And now it's like it's not like it can't happen again, but it's like
it's kind of tainted.
Well,
not
it's
tainted.
Mourning. No,
not
it's
tainted.
mourning along with
but
it.
Do you think that they would? Do you think they'll write it into the movie as like a double honor? Oh my god. Oh my god. If they did
they'll probably dedicate it to him.
That would be amazing if they wrote it in as a double honor, because I feel like for us that if he died in the movie and in the movie he was being honored as the king, I feel like it would be for the fans also to be like, this, you probably never got an opportunity to go to the funeral or whatever, and in the movie we wrote this in as him being, I don't know, I would find that very emotional, but very like,
I hope nobody thinks we're going on too much about the movie, but there's a lot of emotions going on right now. Everything is affected at the minute.
Fuck. This is a real, we have a top 3, right? David Attenborough. Because I know whenever someone has passed, we always say, is it David?
Well, it's not David Attenborough.
David Attenborough, we'll probably only have like a top 1. Oprah Winfrey's one of mine, and Viola Davis.
Oh, I didn't put them in anyway. I just go for the oldies.
I can't really hear any of that. I can't hear anybody.
Yeah, I need some time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just like, thank you, Chadwick, for what you did while you were here. The influence, the inspiration, and
mark,
like,
man.
and embracing everyone coming at you, doing that all the time, and that's not, and understanding what it meant to us. Also giving white, not just white Latino, but giving Black kids their own superhero that was their color, and then we got, just I'm really thankful, really thankful for him. I love him. I feel love. I'm heartbroken, but I'm grateful. I'm really appreciative. So yeah, it's going to take a bit of a time, but it's a shock to the system, no?
I can feel it in my chest. Yeah, it is. I feel like I can't verbally express this anymore. Like I can't verbally think about it.
I got nothing else.
I got to process it in a different way. Like I need to get into my cocoon, put my blanket over my shoulder, eat my cake. Like I feel like I just need to not. And the fact that I put something up on Instagram, like I wanted to do that, but usually when somebody great that I really appreciate and honor and feel a lot for has passed, I don't put a picture up for weeks. I'm one of those people that you gotta give me time. Instagram is or social media is not where I'm on, but I just felt like I wanted something, and it's a beautiful photograph, and he's got such an amazing smile. And yes, thank you. Wakanda forever.
Wakanda forever.
Long live the king. Long live the king. Long live the king.
Long live the king.
Okay.
All right. Nice.
That's a wrap. Yeah. I can't talk about it anymore. It's a wrap. Thanks,
Thanks.
Bye.
Love you.
Love you too. Bye.